Welcome to CV Hustle, the podcast created to educate, inform, and inspire entrepreneurship here in our Coachella Valley.
Hello, everyone. I'm Robert Mraz.
And I'm Fina Mraz.
And this is CV Hustle, the podcast dedicated to educating, informing, and inspiring the next generation of entrepreneurs here in our Coachella Valley. And, you know, it's all about special guests on this show, and we always try to get the best in the business at every industry. And today we've got a real treat, don't we?
Oh, absolutely.
So today, I know a lot of you, if anybody's ever watched the home flipping episodes on, HGTV, these are, take note because we have some real home flippers in the building today. Somebody that actually can make money doing this because it's not for everybody. But our illustrious guests today are Curtis and Cindy Squires of Coachella Valley Homebuyers. Thank you for coming in today.
Hello,
Hi
thank
there.
you for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
We're excited. It's been a long time coming.
Okay, so Cindy, you and I have known each other for a very long time.
Yes.
We met through a mutual friend, and you were doing a flip at the time. So tell me a little bit about, I guess let's start from the beginning. How did you guys start? Was this something, how did you get into this?
Well, go ahead.
So I was a stockbroker, a suit and tie, and I'm in my 20s, late 20s, thinking I'm really cool. And after a few years of wearing a suit and tie every day, I was like,
In New York or
no,
where?
in Texas. That's where I grew up, in Texas. So, but I noticed, as a financial advisor, the guys that came in who had real wealth were not working like what I was doing. They owned real estate or a business. Pretty much that's where all the wealth came from. And they're coming in with T-shirts, and I'm seeing the older brokers, and they're wearing a suit and tie every day, and they're, 50s and 60s, and I started realizing that's not the ticket, right? So I decided I was going to try. I walked away from corporate world. And I started, I didn't know anything about real estate whatsoever. And I ordered a course, and this course tells you the basics, and it says what you need to do is find someone who's already doing it. So I don't know if you remember the old penny savers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I always joke we met from a personal ad. Because I looked up We Buy Houses, little ad like this big. So I'm like, I'm literally going to say, hey, I'll come work for free. Just teach me stuff, right?
Sure.
So I called the first one, I got a voicemail. Second one, no one picked up. Third one was Cindy. And she was already flipping houses.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it was hilarious because I show up over there and she has somebody working for her, this kind of tough lady looking. And Cindy's in the corner, like playing with the babies. And I'm like thinking this is the owner of the company. And she's just interviewing me, right? And I don't know anything about it. And they're like, sure, come help us out. And that was it. That's how we met. And
oh, my God.
So you guys were violating
hired
HR and dating on the job? Is that what was going on?
Yeah.
Well, not yet, right?
No, it didn't start that way. No.
Eventually, though,
Well,
right?
what did you think you were going to start doing for her? What was the position?
Oh, we can't tell you. No, just
Trade secret.
Basically get deals, because that's really the bottom line in this whole business that we do.
Get deals.
That's the hard part, the fixing of the houses, all that kind of stuff. That really, this business is more of a lead generation business.
And you came to me saying that you were good at marketing.
Yeah, she knew the real estate stuff. I was good at marketing, so we had a great start. Like we just,
Well, so where was the business? In Texas? Or
No,
where?
Dana Point, California.
Ah,
So
okay.
he got what do they call it when they take you from one state to another?
extradited.
No, not that.
Basically, when I was 18, I was like, or in my 20s, I was like, wait, I can legally leave Texas. Now, when
so
it
you're
happened,
like-
I won a sales trip being a stockbroker to Dana Point. And I was like, oh my God, this place is gorgeous.
Oh,
So I was in
yeah.
Corpus Christi, Texas. I don't know if you've ever been there,
Super
but
gross.
it's like a little fishing village with a million mosquitoes. So a year later, I just left everything and came to California. And then
And you were a stockbroker in California.
I was, I got, exactly. But not for long.
So do you remember like what one of your first projects was that you both started working on? Tell me a little bit about
I remember
that.
it like clear as day.
Really?
Yeah. So together, so Cindy, you were buying foreclosure auctions
HUD homes.
HUD homes.
Back in the day.
Yeah, and doing really well at it.
Oh my.
And when I came on the scene, that method of getting properties was not working as great. And I'm good at mailers and all, because being a stockbroker, you're just basically
Marketing.
a
all the
glorified
time.
salesperson. You got to get clients. So we took a foreclosure class. We found a house that was in foreclosure. No idea what I'm doing. I walked up and door knocked it. And it was this family, and they had a for sale sign in the front. And I literally said, do you want to sell your house?
Wow.
And they said, yeah. So, with her training, I didn't know what an escrow was. I didn't know anything, but I got in front of the guy, we made an offer, and then Cindy knew how to take it from there.
Well, how did you know how to? Well, how did you
I was,
get?
okay,
Yeah.
I was already doing it.
Well, how did you
He's
get
a
into
little
it?
younger than me. Don't tell anyone.
Okay, we won't.
Yeah, nobody's gonna
But
listen.
how did you find yourself into?
Okay, so I don't know where to start because I'm really old. But
Well, start from the beginning. Where are you from?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was raised in the LA area, and after high school, I went to FIDM, Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising. I thought I was going to be.
Of course you
Yes,
did. Now
see,
that
you
explains
didn't know
it.
that about me.
You've always had that in you.
Yeah. So I thought I was going to be in the fashion industry. I just thought that would be fun. Then from there, I met somebody, and he was in the furniture business, and kind of pulled me into the furniture business with him. He was my first husband, Patrick.
Gotcha.
So we ran a furniture store by ourselves, like in early 20s, running this store, no kids or anything like that. Ran this store for, I think, 8 or 9 years, and one day we had a fire. We had a fire. We were having an outdoor tent sale, all the furniture outside. Security guard calls us at 3 in the morning and says there's been a fire. And there was one little electrical cord that was going from the tent to the inside of and it back, whatever. Anyway, we went down there, and the whole place was fine. There was just a little fire, but everything was deemed smoke damaged.
Oh.
So one thing led to another. The insurance company gave us a big fat check for all the merchandise. I'm like, well, are we going to put this back in furniture? Or are we going to do something else? So that's when this is like 1996 or five. And there was one old guru on late night TV named Carlton Sheets. Some people will know that name. And we bought his course. First we went to Hawaii for a month, and then then we bought that guy's course and started. And we just started from one house and then started building it up more and more.
So the course actually worked.
It
was
worked.
actually good.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those things you see
Yeah,
on
you
infomercials, you
It
think
took
they're
that,
scams,
and it took
you know?
a lot of hard knocks too, because
Well,
you lose money. You know that.
Sure.
You pay for your education doing it, making
Oh,
mistakes.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you both went and started buying HUD homes?
Uh-huh.
My first home was a HUD home.
Oh, really?
And I bought that thing, and it was in August. I was pregnant with my twins.
Uh-huh.
It's hot as balls here in the desert, right? At that time, I bought the house. It had no air conditioner.
Oh, they let you buy it?
I bet you got a great deal, though.
Or either that or it got stolen. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
But I mean, talk about hard knocks, So, okay. So then you started doing that, and then he comes along. So they say, yes, we'll sell the house. So who bought it?
Yeah. So
Who ended up?
so Cindy had already had the buying machine, right?
And the fixing up machine,
Yeah.
and the selling machine.
And-
I forgot to mention, I had a mentor who was a real estate agent guy. He's sadly no longer with us. He didn't take good care of himself, but he was a cool guy, and he knew a lot of stuff. And not just any realtor. Now a lot more people know what it's like to do investments, but back then it was the word flip was a 4-letter word. It was the F word.
Really?
The people did not like that word. They thought you were doing something shady, or you're taking advantage of widows and orphans, and it just the
vultures.
TV shows changed everything.
Oh, yeah.
There's no HGTV.
For good
back
and
then.
bad. Let's talk about that, too.
Yeah,
one
for
day.
good and bad.
But there's a lot of
That's right.
scams during that era as well, where they were inflating house prices and cahoots with the appraiser. So that also gave flippers a bad name. So yeah, it was like the TV shows made it more mainstream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my partnership ended that's just part of the personal life part. But then I found myself, I had 3 babies, the twins and another, and here comes this guy, and
Little
he's
did
like,
I
and
know
I'm still
what-
trying to keep the business.
I had
going.
no idea what was
Sounds like
coming.
us.
Walking right into that one, weren't
Yeah,
you?
3
Right
kids
in.
and a set of twins.
Isn't that funny?
Oh my gosh.
Twin girls. Twin girls and a boy.
I had no
They
idea
were 4 and 2.
how much that phone call was going to change the course of everything.
Your whole life.
Yeah.
The whole trajectory.
Yeah.
What was
Oh
that
my
little
gosh.
saying you used to say? Not only got your first deal, but you.
Oh,
Got some kids too?
yeah, I got a
got-
family out of it.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And then I was kind of a rehab. You kind of rehabbed me a little bit.
Anyway, slowly but surely, we just started putting our strengths together because I was already good at fixing them up and knowing what's a deal and how to fix it up and how to sell it. But I couldn't get him anymore because the market
Right.
changed. It was hard to get HUD homes, but he knew how to get them.
Yeah.
And that's to this day, we still hold those same roles.
Yeah.
Really?
And it worked
He's,
good because
he's the guy with the computer and talking to the sellers, and then I'm the girl, I'm the contractor. I'm out there and I'm the designer and I'm the one saying, take out this wall, let's change this and do that.
a lot of people starting out don't have that part of it, and that's a whole other aspect. It's not just the house. I mean, the
not just knowing
paperwork
how
and how the transaction works. There's so much more to it.
And the legalities of it all too.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let me ask you this. So when you went to go work for Cindy, you had to go get your real estate license at that time, or you did not
No.
have
No,
it? You were
we
just
didn't.
because you were just doing marketing.
Yeah, because when you're buying a property for yourself, you don't need a license. So that's the license comes in if you're selling for someone else. That's where you have to have a license.
Okay.
So I did end up getting a broker's license 6 years later, something like that. Absolutely smart idea, right?
Oh,
getting
yeah,
licensed. We
absolutely.
got licensed recently.
Sure, I did.
It helps in a lot of ways, but you don't need to have it, just to buy the properties.
Okay, so this first house that you guys got, did you go in and rehab it? Or was,
I don't even
was
remember it. Do you? You do? I don't remember what we did with it.
No, I remember so clearly walking up to the door, but it was a little
There's
condo.
a lot of houses.
I
ago.
think
Your legs
You
were
know what?
probably shaking.
We flipped it right away to the owner of County Records Research, and that was
Oh, we
quick.
wholesaled it then.
Yeah,
Before wholesaling was a word.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
sold it to another investor real
That's right.
quick.
So tell
Made
me
a
a
quick
little
profit.
bit about that. How does that? Because that's something that you do now,
Yeah,
right?
well, because we have this whole machine, this whole deal-getting machine, this marketing and everything, and we get a lot of leads. People know us just from being in business for a long time, and they'll say so-and-so needs to sell a house or whatever. Well, I don't want to fix them all up anymore. I'm picky now. I want the ones that are close to my house, and
I don't gotta go very far.
I just can't do them all. So we have a network of friends and other people who also do what we do, and we'll just call them and go, look, we got a good one here. We can't take it.
Yeah.
You want it. And then maybe they'll pay us a couple bucks, and we'll give them our contract, and they'll take it over.
Yeah, and
That's called
and
wholesaling.
anybody wanting to start this business and learn, highly recommended to take that approach. If you find someone like us who do fix up homes and help find them a home, and then it's almost like a finder's fee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you can see how they evaluate it, and
You can learn a lot.
You can learn a lot.
You can
and-
walk
and
through the
that's-
house with them. And
Yeah, and that's kind of what we did on a few of those.
Okay, so you guys sold that. How did you end up in the desert? Because you were in Dana Point, right? Did you guys get married right away? Like what? Tell me about the journey.
So this is early 2000s, and the market was insane. It went nuts. From like 1, 2, 3, 4, they're skyrocketing. So we're trying to flip houses for a living, and like the worst house in Santa Ana was $500,000-$600,000.
at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, this 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how we're making our living, is buying and flipping houses.
But you want the worst houses, correct?
Yeah, but I
But
mean,
at
that
the right
takes all your
price.
resources
Yeah.
for one little shitty house that's 2-bedroom, 1 bath that's falling apart.
So I mean, you can get
like-
funding, but you can get funding for these houses, but it's still like 600,000. How many can you do? You know, you burn
But
out
so
of,
what's the real reason we're here in the desert?
and then because your mom lived
We
here.
had too many kids. Too many kids. Parents lived here. We thought, let's just go get near them.
Yeah, let's
And-
get near the babysitters, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Family.
that's it. You know, it didn't work out that way because we found out that they travel. Yeah. You're like, where are you going? Wait a minute. Stay
Yeah.
home.
And it
Yeah,
was always
so-
like every year was like, we're gonna go to San Diego next year, and it's like 20 years later.
Yeah.
It's like,
Still here.
Yeah, we're
No,
still
and
here.
then-
We love it here. You know, we put the kids all in soccer. We make friends.
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
you guys were big
Yeah.
soccer.
It ended up being a great place to
we
raise a
have
family.
4 kids, 7 and under. That's a handful. Well, yeah. Well,
that's
you
a-
did that.
You know, it's like one thing
Yeah,
leads to the
don't
next.
remind me though. I tell people it's all a blur.
It's a blur. Yeah.
But the Coachella Valley is a good place to raise kids.
Yeah, it's a good place to
Especially
raise kids.
compared to like LA or the bigger cities, I think.
Yeah.
You can still know your neighbors here.
Yeah.
You're not just a number at the school. Well, it's starting to change.
Well, and
now,
it's not as
I think.
expensive, right?
And that's the other thing, cost of living.
And that
right?
was what he was going at with the $500,000 Santa Ana house. At that time, we could buy 3 houses out here.
Yeah.
No
For that
way.
money.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know?
yeah. Early.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We could
Like
buy
in good neighborhoods,
Yeah,
or
like Cathedral City, and you know,
Okay.
we would buy.
The market was so crazy. It was right before the crash, and I remember
Oh,
there's
that's
an
another whole thing.
there's an Indio house. Tom was just telling me. So this little condo in Indio, and it's not a good area. It was selling for $200,000 in 2005.
And
Like,
we were buying them for 30.
It was crazy.
Were we buying those for
Yeah,
30?
you could get really great deals.
Yeah.
how in the hell did you do that?
Well, that's what
You're
we
a
did.
trade secret.
That's what we did.
I'll have to kill you.
You see the TV shows, and people think that the nature of this business is being able to fix up a house. It's not. It's being able to.
Buy.
We're more than fixing up homes. You have to be problem solvers. If there was no problems, we would be out of business because 98% of the people are going to call a realtor and sell their house. They're not going to sell to Curtis and Cindy, you know, for 70, 80% because they have a problem.
Right.
And the problem is either with the owner or with the property, but there has to be a problem because either they need money. I mean, the 4 Ds lead to all our deals. It's what? Drugs, disease, divorce,
And death.
Wow.
Because, you know, if somebody passes and there's a bunch of siblings, there's no will, you know, it's a big legal mess.
But doesn't it go into probate?
See, a lot of times if there's no will and they don't know what to do, and now the bank's going to take it, that's where we come in, and knowing how to help them. Like, we will actually pay for the probate attorney if they don't have any money, go through this 6-month-long process under the condition we get to buy it, and it's a win-win. So are we going to pay full retail? No, of course not.
That or the house has like structural problems, or you know,
Yeah.
problems with the house, problems with the title, problems with
Yeah.
the family,
Liens.
any kind of
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
That's
So you
how we
guys are
do it.
problem solvers.
Yeah.
We're
we're
problem
problem
solvers.
And we get paid for that.
That's right.
That's the business.
Yeah.
That's our niche.
Okay, so let's go back to the house where I first met you. That was in a nice goddamn neighborhood
that
in
was in
Indian Wells.
Yeah.
So-
On
Which
Stardust.
house was it?
Stardust.
Oh, that's my favorite rehab that she
Really?
ever did. Yeah.
Mine too, because I made a lot of money on the tile. But no, how did that work out? How did you get in that neighborhood? You know what I mean?
People die there.
Yep.
People
And in
get
fact, I think that
diseases
was
there.
like a same type of thing. You know, the especially this area, you have an older demographic.
Sure, especially in Indian Wells.
You know, and you've got a kid who lives in, you know, Oklahoma, and it could be a single lady with kids, and it's like, what? There's a house, really? You know, like I got to fly out there and fix it up and talk to pushy realtors, and
Yeah, it's just like
and
too much work.
It's too much.
Let me
So-
just
Yeah,
cash in
right.
here.
So we would like skip trace the next of kin. It's almost like PI work a lot of times.
Find out who
Oh,
owns it.
we've tracked down some crazy stories.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Where we find people.
What about the
and
mummy
just-
story? You should tell the mummy
Oh
story.
yeah, we had a
Ooh,
mummy.
that sounds good.
Mommy story.
We've had
Ooh.
several.
We've had we had murder houses.
We had a
and
murder house last
Chinese
summer.
birthing houses and
In La Quinta, she murdered and tortured her mom in the house.
What?
Wasn't that recent?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And so Melanie in our office sends a letter to her in jail. Are you interested in selling? She calls immediately, collect from county.
From jail.
Like right away.
Sold
She's
a
like,
house to an inmate, or bought a house off an inmate.
we were down at the jail getting the paperwork signed.
Wow.
No.
We closed on it a month
Way.
later.
Hey, these
We've
guys
been
are
at the
good,
jail
man.
before too. The other one, Fortuna.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Wait,
another
what-
jailhouse.
Yeah.
Hold on, this is interesting
Crime
to me.
properties, murder properties.
So if you're in jail, she just has a bank account. Like, what is she gonna
Yeah,
do?
they don't
Spend
take
her
your
money
money.
on freaking cup of noodles in jail? Like, where? I don't understand. Like,
They have
She
families.
has-
They can
she-
use
And she
the
left that
money.
house like they just came in and took her away. I mean,
Yeah.
she never went back to that house.
Yeah.
So her
Yeah,
stuff
and there is
was
blood
just
on the-
everywhere,
blood in the
blood
living
on the
So you
room.
floor.
rehabbed. You had to come in and rehab
And
that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
rehabbed it.
Oh, yeah.
what'd you
Wow.
do? What do you do with all the stuff?
Donated a lot of.
Yeah.
Well, we were in communication with her too. We were like, okay, here's pictures of everything. Do you want this stuff? And she's like, here are the things that I want. Like we made friends with her.
She's like,
you
can
know.
you
Did you ask her why
dry
she
clean the,
did it?
Yeah, no.
Why she
She's like, can you
killed
dry
her
clean the
mother?
blood off the rug before you? I mean, it was, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
but she's still there. She's in prison. We bought it, we renovated it, and sold it.
Wow.
I think that's our 4th murder house, actually.
Wow.
There was one in Palm Springs. We showed up, and there was right in the middle of the living room. There's a big square
of
cut
carpet,
out-
mis-
cut
carpet
out.
missing.
Yeah.
And then it's all like brown on the concrete.
I love it.
And then we found out later that there was like a there was a relationship, like a underground relationship going on that the partner wasn't happy, and he stabbed him with a
Screwdriver.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You guys should write a book of all the rehabs
there's-
you've done. I'm
so
sure
we-
you could.
so
you
we
could
had a
go
really
on
good
and
one.
on and on about these.
So this lady comes in. She wants to sell at this crazy low price. And after you've been talking to these people for years and years, you have like this built-in radar. I'm like, nobody does that.
Oh, she wanted to sell it too
It's
cheap.
a red flag.
Yeah, red flag.
It's
Red
like
flag.
in sales.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh hell no. Go
Yeah.
go to Floor and Decor,
So-
honey.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's a younger lady, and the owner is missing. And she has this paperwork that he gave her the house, right? So turns out he's got a house in LA, Laguna Beach, and
Somewhere else. It's like 4 of them.
so we dig a little, and this guy is literally missing. So, when it goes through title,
Yeah, he's in the ocean. he's swimming.
No.
He's swimming with the fishies.
no, we know where he is now.
Oh,
So the cops literally are like, we called him, and they went to all these houses. So they go in his LA house, neighbors hadn't seen him. They come in to his house, they break in, and there is a mummy on the couch.
That was him.
And so here's the question. How did she know? She said he was dead. How would she know he's dead?
Wow. This is like a Dateline
passed away.
episode right here.
Yeah.
It's a cliffhanger.
So we had to go talk to the DA.
But
and all
legally,
this.
we really could have bought the houses from her.
No, we would have if we could have. But title is like, nope. There's
Oh,
no death
title's separate.
certificate. We don't know he's dead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
God.
Red flag.
You guys
like
should write
real
a book,
red
man.
flag.
All the crazy stories you've seen in your
Oh my
industry.
God, there's
right?
many
I'm
more.
I'm sure you
There's
have
so many.
a backlog of them that
Yeah.
We really
can
should.
keep coming
We should
out.
really.
Yeah. I mean,
So Coachella Valley Homebuyers, that entitles that probably you guys started that business when you came down here. Was
Yeah.
that part of the plan coming down here, or was that something that?
No, yeah,
Because
we-
you said you were working for like a machine before, right? But you were the owner of that machine?
Yeah.
So you were the owner in
Yeah,
Dana Point.
that
so
was
you
my
were
machine.
So how old were you when you started your business, or how old were you when you
let's
became a
see.
business owner?
Business owner.
Well, that was your-
21.
21.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Furniture
I
stores.
come from a family of business owners.
Of
My
entrepreneurs.
It's in
my
your
dad
blood.
always owned companies, and my grandfather companies. My mom was a realtor. And the jobs that I even had, I worked at a store, like a clothing store in the mall. I worked at Nordstrom when I was really young, and I would get promoted fast. Like
Yeah.
I'm always gonna be a manager fast because I have the ability to be able to look around, see what needs to be done, and just do it. Like, just either you think that way or you don't think that way.
Oh
that's
my
why-
God, ain't that the truth?
Are
Yes.
you-
So that, and then furniture business, and then
So how was the furniture business? Because
fun.
you've kind of
woven
back
into it.
that.
I know.
So I'd like to hear about that.
Yeah.
You know.
So I found out that I was in fashion, so I was good at putting things together and making things look good. And then I found that the furniture business was fun in the same way. You know, putting together vignettes,
I can see
designing
that.
homes. Oh, here, use this rug and this couch. And it was exactly the same to me, just different products. And
On a bigger scale.
on a bigger
right?
scale, yeah. So it was really fun, and that was before kids, so it was easy.
So when you had your furniture store back once upon a time ago, I'm sure that also helped when you were rehabbing these places.
Yeah.
You were staging these homes,
I know
correct?
how to, yep, and then I would stage the homes. And so I had all my wholesale accounts still for furniture, and I could buy furniture wholesale.
After all these years, when she renovates a house, my jaw still drops. 'Cause it's like,
I love
she's a
Cindy's.
genius at it.
She's great. She's got a
That's
great
She'll
eye.
take a house, and it's not just the decor of it. Like, she'll know, move this wall. And it's so funny because anytime we meet a contractor or somebody, they look at me and start telling me, like, I don't know shit about houses. And I still don't.
I'm just a sales guy.
You
man.
just do the money stuff.
Marketing sales guy. Talk to
negotiating.
the boss lady over here.
And
She's
and
got
it's
that.
like,
Sounds like us.
Oh yeah.
No, like he doesn't know the difference between a drill and a hammer, and
No,
I don't know how to print a document. Okay,
Yeah.
we're
so
good together.
we'll be standing there with a contractor, and they're back and forth, and then I'll throw an idea. They'll both just look at me and then just keep talking. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna go
Oh,
stand in
that's
the
cute.
corner and look important.
There you go.
You're good at some stuff too.
That's,
Good at what you do.
I picked up some stuff over the years just through osmosis.
Yeah.
But I just have no desire to, you have a passion
Yeah.
for figuring out the space and stuff.
Yeah,
And
and
it's,
it's the same thing. It's having a vision. You know how to do that. You see something that's a
vision.
blank,
Yeah.
and you know how to turn it into
Sure.
something beautiful, and it's just the same thing.
Okay, now I have another question about when you guys get these homes. I'm going back to because I want to know more about this business, right? And and that's what we're here for. When you get a house, you're looking at what, like the end profit? Are you looking at other comps to go, oh shit, we can get $100,000 for this?
Yeah, it's a formula.
And it's also like how fast we can turn this
Yeah.
sucker. What is the?
It's
it's
all
three
that.
numbers. You got to have the three numbers, and it always starts with what is it going to sell for when it's fixed up, and that's tricky. It can be really tough sometimes because no two houses are exactly the same.
Sure.
So you have this comp, by comp meaning a property that sold, had a pool. This one didn't, it has a better view. So it takes a lot of like a gut feel, but you've got to start with what can you sell it for. And then you have what is it going to cost to get it there.
So then that's my number, and then they call me. So
And-
they'll get a house under contract in the office, and then they'll do all the numbers, and they'll think the numbers fit together. And then they'll call me, and then I'll go to the property, and I'll say, okay, it's going to take $90,000 to fix up this house. It'll take 90. So then he plugs it in. Okay, we can sell it for this. It's going to take 90. We think we can sell it in 4 months. Here's how much our money is going to cost. Here's how much our holding costs, and boom, it spits out a buy price.
Yeah.
So, and then that's our buy price, and
Yeah.
that's
so it's
the
like
last
the AI
number.
then, huh? You already have it all built in the
Oh,
system.
he has
right?
that.
Yeah,
Well, he's a
yeah.
genius,
That's the
really.
part. That's the part I do.
Yeah,
It's
he's a genius.
So you're the numbers guy.
Yeah.
I'm the numbers
that puts
guy,
all the
you know,
deals together in
and you see
numbers.
those TV shows, and it's hilarious because they're like, "Oh, we bought it for $200." And we
Such
put,
BS, right?
It's
When you look
such
at it,
BS.
There's so much more
so
cost.
HGTV's had to change your guys' industry totally, right? Because
Yeah,
everybody and their mom thinks that they can do this.
It made
they're our
it made it
competition.
much
Yeah.
harder.
They made it harder for us because
Yeah,
they
'cause-
get in there with higher buy prices than we're willing to pay, but then they lose money on the deal, and then they call us and say, "We're out. We're so done with this house. Come buy it from me."
Wow.
So
Oh
it's
my
full
gosh.
circle.
There is
We bought from a
ton
lot of
com-
investors.
Ton of competition these
Okay,
days. man.
tell me, because you guys did have a TV show at one point, right, or something like that. What
Somebody
No.
didn't want it.
something?
We
We
got
did it.
offered one, but somebody
We
didn't
got
want
offered one, and we
Oh,
did
wow.
a.
How did
This
that
is a-
come?
this is
Who
a good
offered
story.
and when did that happen?
I forgot the name
Reality
of the.
stars over here.
it. Was it Bravo?
No, they
I
they
don't
brought the
remember.
whole camera people out there. We
Really?
did it.
Yeah,
and
they had that whole thing. We
we
So
we
somebody
shot.
from like HGTV or who?
Well, I think they saw us on because we got a spot on Inside Edition. They did a spot on us.
Oh, how in the hell did
Is
that
that
come
when you guys were in LA or when you were down in
Here,
the valley? Really?
it was. We
did
had
that
this
come
whole
up?
like big media. We were on the front page of the LA Times.
Oh,
What
wow.
sparked
Yeah,
that?
we had our 15 minutes for sure. I
Yeah,
mean,
we were
How
on
did
the
that
news.
come about? Just because
So-
you guys are badass, or what?
I started
Did you
writing.
know somebody that knew somebody?
No, we didn't know anybody.
Well,
They
okay.
came to
Wow.
us.
Actually, it's kind of interesting because when the market crashed, and it
In what year?
and it was like
2007?
07, 08,
Yeah.
Oh God, I
09.
remember that time. Yes.
we had 12 houses, and literally every month they're dropping in value, and it's our entire net worth.
And we're still making the payments on every house because we're like, we've been doing this a long time. Like, it's California, you know.
It's gonna sell eventually.
It's gonna come
right?
back up.
Yeah.
And
it's
so
gonna-
we're keeping our good reputation, making those payments.
Yeah, and we were wiped out just like a bunch of people.
Took
I mean,
everything.
it
It
just
took
I remember we
everything.
would sell the house. Finally, we're like, oh God, thank God.
Good God, yeah.
Unleash
And then
one.
I'll never forget escrow calling me saying, the mortgage lender, it's like a nationwide, like
Franklin Loan Center.
Wells
or
Fargo,
whatever.
Bank of America, they're bankrupt.
Like the lender would go out of business.
The
on
whole
our buyer. Like,
nationwide
we had a willing
lender.
buyer finally.
So
It was so bad.
It was bad.
so bad.
It
So
was
what
horrible.
do you do in that?
So then that's a big topic in the news, right? How houses are losing value. And so they just started looking for experts in the field, and they found him from a blog or something
Yep.
he did.
Well, but there's a little interesting break because we're out. We can't keep doing this.
You were
They're-
gonna do a.
yeah, we're just like,
You're gonna go sell some furniture.
yeah,
or
leave
what?
leave real estate island. So it's like, what do we do? Like these 4 little kids, they're under 12.
You gotta feed them.
And you got to feed them, and they keep
They
wanting,
gotta
no
go
matter
to
how
school,
many
they wanna
times you.
eat every day.
Yeah,
God.
right.
So
And
unreasonable.
I mean, it's like, what do we do? Because everything's gone, and even the lenders are out of business, and the whole thing is just a full meltdown. So I was going to go do internet marketing and learn that. So we spent I remember we were down to $5,000, and we went to a seminar on internet marketing. And
in Atlanta. huh?
in Atlanta,
we used
it
all
was-
our money to go there.
yes, it's
Yeah.
like just a desperate Hail Mary pass.
Yeah.
I'm a tech guy. I'm good at marketing.
Sure.
I can learn this, and it was really amazing. It was great content, and they basically said, you need to get a blog, you need to write, and you have to use Google keywords. This is 2008, and that's what we did. And I wrote about real estate, and it went crazy.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, LA Times is calling, is it okay if we use this from your blog? And I said, sure, great. And then,
Investors Business Daily.
they called. And so I'm having coffee one morning, I'm getting into my email, and it's Hotmail, and there's an article on real estate, and I read it, and there's a quote by me.
Wow.
And I was like, no way, what?
A pretty surreal
And then,
moment.
and then so LA Times came back out. They did a 3-hour interview, and I thought it was going to be maybe in the back of the business page, and it was smack on the front page of the LA Times.
And then the news called us, and then we were there special real estate foreclosure experts in the news, and so we
Yeah,
would
we were
do
on
little spots
Fox
with
Business,
them.
3
and then
times.
Inside Edition came to our house, and they filmed us for hours.
Yeah.
Hours.
And what was cool was they would put our website, and it just exploded. We had
Oh my God.
500 interested people. So what we did, what we talked about in the beginning of the show, was we're out of money, every investor's out of business. Literally, people are committing suicide. It was so bad.
My God, I know somebody who
our
did.
lender
Yeah,
did that.
a good friend of
And
ours.
he was our friend, and he was our age with 4 kids, and he did
Yeah.
because of the crash.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Horrible.
But,
So bad.
But you basically said, well, what are we good at? We're really good at finding deals.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't leave real estate island yet. And we started writing offers on these foreclosures because there's everybody was upside down or they lost their house. 1 out of 3 lost their house. 2 of our 12. We managed to get rid of all of ours except 2, I think. But
We gave him back.
we started writing offers on all these foreclosures that the banks owned. And I'll never forget. Back then,
REOs.
Yeah.
Real estate owned. But
So
assets.
nobody owned a house really with equity.
The banks owned
the
all the
banks owned all the houses.
Yeah,
Right?
there.
They own the whole block.
Yeah,
So-
thank you.
Yeah.
So we'd write these back as fax. Everything was fax. So
Fax machine.
we'd send them these, and that's when I got my license, because I'm like, wow, all the deals are on the market and they're all bank owned. So we're writing these low offers, and I'll never forget someone wrote real big, ha 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 ha, like
At our low offer, and then they faxed it back to us.
yeah, and they were laughing at us. It was, I remember it was August 07, I think, or 08 maybe, and those same agents that were laughing at us were started calling us, going, "Hey, is that offer still good?"
Mm-hmm.
And
They keep
so
calling
we would
back.
buy the house, and it's like we figured this out at a desperate. It wasn't even called wholesaling back then. We just figured it out.
We invented it.
Yeah,
I do. I think we invented
we
it.
discovered it.
Yeah,
But we
one of
just
them.
had to figure something out, and we would get the house really low price, and because of all that news exposure, we had 400 like investors.
Investors.
Yeah. So
You
we
gotta
would
say, hey.
we would we had an email list.
Because I was just gonna say, where in the hell did you get the money from?
No, we don't need it.
Investors.
We didn't need any money.
If you have a
buying
deal
with
in
other
our
people's
business,
money.
if you find the deal, the money will come to it.
But you see, with wholesaling, you don't need any money. We just write the offer, get it accepted, and then we send it to our investors. They close it.
Okay. I'm dense. I need
No, it's
you
tricky.
to break it down. So, like, for instance, you found a house that was on foreclosure for how much?
So
Just tell me.
let's say it's listed for $300,000. We would be ridiculous. We'd offer like $200,000,
Okay. And they'd say, okay.
and they would say, okay, because they're more
'Cause
and
they
more
have too much inventory
Yeah,
at that point, right?
exactly.
So then they sign the contract. Okay, they send us the contract back, and now we have something valuable.
Yeah,
Now we have a house that, we have a contract for a house that we're buying
Way
for
up- buying it
200,000.
way
Maybe it
undervalued.
only needs 50 or 60,000. Maybe it's worth 400, 450.
So you
Okay,
so
well,
you
hold
call
on.
your investor, right?
But wait, you have okay. So say it's you. So now you owe 200 grand. Do you have to pay?
No,
that
we don't
to-
know
you
it.
don't know it. You
It's
just
just
have a
under
piece of paper.
contract. Like there's an agreement that
The
we're going to buy
contract
it.
is really what they're selling.
Yes,
right?
that's it. Bingo, that's it.
The
Yeah.
contract is what they're selling
Yeah.
because they have a contract under value what the house is.
Right.
So the
So
contract
you
has
can
our
go get
name on
money
it.
that.
We give it to our friend with the money, and we call and we say, "Oh, my partner's going to buy it instead. Can you please put his name on it instead?"
Yeah, we change buyers.
He gives us a couple bucks.
Is
It's our
that something
contract,
you
and
guys
then he closes it
invented,
with
or is
his
that something
money.
you knew about with your background, or is that just something you invented?
No,
It
it's
was
it's called
desperation.
desperation.
And that's a great,
Yeah.
great tool of ingenuity right
You know
there.
what?
It's what saved us.
That's what you
Sink
have to
or
do.
swim.
Sink or
Yeah.
swim.
Yeah.
Sink or
Oh,
swim.
Yeah,
all
and that's
about that.
so we did that for. It took us another year or two, and we finally started buying our own houses again.
Okay, so then
It paid
so
the bills.
You would say to me, "Hey, Fina, do you want to buy this house for $215,000?"
You got it. That's it.
And
That's
I go,
right.
"Hell yes!"
And you go here's the contract. Now
And
give us
then-
15.
And you don't care about giving us 15 because there's a lot of meat left on the bone.
Yeah, because I'm
We
going to
make-
get 300,000, right? I'm going to make
You got it.
75,000
That's it. That's it.
potentially.
That's it. So that's a great way. Now it's really
It's
common.
very common now.
But it's a great way to start if you want to learn doing this. Like, bring us a deal, we'll buy it. You'll make money.
Yeah.
You know, we'll teach you, how we did our numbers and stuff.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
in fact, we bought our last one through a wholesaler.
There's a lot of people who do wholesaling and they don't have to use their money. It's free.
Yeah.
Just
So
costs
you don't need
time.
any of your own money to do
It
this.
costs
And,
time.
it's a thing.
All right, so you'll get something that comes on because tell me about the house that you recently did and they were like hoarders. You should have seen, like, were
Well,
there
which
maggots?
I'm sure there's
Pick
been
one.
many,
The
right?
latest one. But I
some,
just.
some of them, our guys have to wear hazmat suits.
Yeah.
They're so bad.
Yeah.
We had
But,
one.
but isn't that what you kind of want?
I mean, yeah.
To a point.
Because nobody else does. There's no
Yeah,
competition.
less. Yeah,
Well, see, that's the thing that's made our business so much harder is years ago, a fixer was a problem. Now a fixer-upper is a
a
commodity
gem.
because everybody wants it.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone's like just lights up when they see fixer-upper houses.
Everybody's an investor now. right?
Everybody's
Everybody
like,
and their brother, yeah.
So
used
it makes
to
it
be-
tougher.
It used to be people would say, "What do you do for a living?" And I flip houses. Really? I've always wanted to flip houses. Tell me more. And now it's like, "Oh yeah, I do that. My brother does it. My dad does
Yeah.
it." You know.
It's become commoditized for sure. Like, there's bidding wars on every fixer-upper.
And so what happens is a lot of these people, they don't know what they're doing until they get through the process of it. And then they find out, like, oh, there's a lot more involved. And then a lot of them, like the one on Terrace that we bought, remember, in Cathedral City?
They got halfway done and
they
were
got
like...
halfway, they were having an emotional breakdown. This poor couple. They were like, oh my God, I can't even talk about it anymore. And
remodeling is super
they
stressful.
left everything there.
It really
They had
is.
all the windows there, and all the flooring was there. It was really easy for us to do. They just couldn't do it mentally anymore.
We're coming off of like at least 6 years of upward movement in prices. So if you buy badly, you get bailed out. When that stops, there's going to be, the ones who know how to do this correctly are going to be separated because they buy on margins where we would never buy. But COVID and these prices keep going up. So what happens is they look like geniuses, right?
You pay too much, and then the market.
Yeah, and they go, "Oh, this is easy," and then they start quitting their
increases.
jobs and doing it full time, and then word gets out, and their friends start doing it. But as soon as we get a softening in the market, it starts to turn into more of a buyer's market. That's when you can get in trouble real fast.
Sure. I mean, because then you're like, wait, I wasn't used to this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean it's worth less than what I thought it was?
Yeah,
worth?
like you don't need, your rehab doesn't have to be high quality. There's no inventory, so you can just put lipstick, clean it up.
Not just quality, but high end. Like you don't have to use all high end finishes.
Right.
True. Get
Yeah.
away with
And,
it.
yeah. And
We always try to turn out quality.
yeah. Right.
So a softer market just dictates lesser competition for
Oh,
you
you
guys,
bet.
right?
You better believe it.
So you guys are like almost chomping at the bit for it to
Yeah.
kind of slow down a
Yeah,
little bit,
separate
right?
us, please.
Yeah.
Because you guys have the formula, and
Yeah.
all these
Right.
Johnny-come-latelys, they just think they can do
Exactly.
it because they see it on the TV, and it's not that
Yeah.
easy.
And real estate agents too, like especially the younger ones, they haven't seen house doesn't sell in a week and they're freaking out. It's like that's not normal. That's
Right?
like you don't sell your house in a week. Like it normally takes a month or
months.
two.
Yeah.
So we now are in a time where we have higher interest rates, correct? So like, is that
Not
hurting?
historically.
Not
They're still
that's
pretty-
true.
Not
You're
compared to
like,
the 90s. I
Not
think
compared
if
to
you
when
just
they were-
compare,
to lately though,
18,
right?
well,
To like
we're just coming off of a zero interest rate
Yeah, well, we
period
have, like-
where everybody
Exactly.
thinks money is free.
Exactly.
2.5,
If you go back to
3%.
if you go back to the 80s, I mean, they had like 18,
Double digit, yeah,
19%.
absolutely.
When my mom was a
interest
realtor
rates.
back in the 80s,
I can't.
That's
That
crazy.
shouldn't even be
It was-
legal.
No, but that was
credit
the,
card
but that
rates
was,
for a mortgage.
But
Yeah.
that was the
So
normal.
historically, if we're only at like 6 or 7 right now, still good.
But
It's
still,
great.
okay. But I mean, isn't that affecting the market, right? Because a lot of people are waiting, right, to buy that.
It's weird because I don't know. I feel like this is a strange market. Everyone goes, "Oh, it's interest rates," but inventory dried up before the interest rates spiked up. There's something at play, and like as a student of the market, it's always like the older people I talk to, and they're like, "I don't get it either." It's the younger ones that are like, "Oh, it's because this," but something's strange. This happened like before COVID. Inventory started really shrinking. I don't really know why. There's not as many people selling their house, and I think interest rates exacerbated it. But there's a strange thing with supply and demand, and I'm not sure exactly what it is, but there's.
Well, it's also an election year.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Sure.
just being in sales, I know that every election
Absolutely.
year, everything just gets freaking
Get weird. Yeah, right.
And then
Yes.
as soon as there's somebody elected, boom.
Yes, right.
So
yes.
it's kind of like one of those waiting games, but everybody's kind of like,
Yeah.
People get weird.
Yeah, people get
Everything's
weird.
Yeah, and
I get it.
you get equal people saying everything's going to crash soon, and I don't know. I feel like it's going to kind of bump along sideways for a while because there's just so little inventory compared to historic.
And why do you think that there is such? I mean, in a capitalist society, don't we address the needs of You know, like, wouldn't there be home builders out there saying, hey, there's historically low levels, why don't we build? It's kind of weird that we don't do that, right?
And then you got inflation.
When you have all this demand, a capitalist society will meet that demand usually. It's kind of
They should be building, but the
building starts are down, right?
material, it's the material costs.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So that kind of offsets the demand.
True.
lumber
I-
is
copper
like
and lumber is
30%
ridiculous.
more. It's
Our
ridiculous.
renovation costs have skyrocketed, right? I mean, that's your
Oh,
department. but-
yeah. Yeah. I'm always fighting with the people in my office who are trying to get the deals under contract, and they're like, well, this house should only cost $150 to fix up. I'm like, that's $250 now.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
It's different now.
Yeah.
And then all the laborers, you know, when the gas went up,
Oh, my
all
God.
the laborers want a gas surcharge. Give me an extra $100 for gas. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is not, you know.
Oh my goodness.
know.
So there's no real easy fix to the inventory problem. It's just it's
No.
a multiple layered probably
Yeah,
problem, right?
a play that I'm getting more interested in is the ADUs.
Uh-huh. We need to build an ADU in Bahama, I'm telling you. Because
Yeah.
like the
'Cause you
city
can.
of Indio, right,
'Cause you
is just
can.
like giving out permits like they're
Yeah.
candy, right?
Yes,
because
they are.
they need housing.
I think it's the state of California.
Is it?
Yeah, well, they've made it where, you know, with this homeless epidemic, that it supersedes a lot of the local laws. Where before, oh, you can't build there because you have to have a certain amount of offset, and now the state's going, sorry,
All right.
we don't
well,
care, build it.
Build.
Yeah,
But do
build
people
it.
know what an ADU is?
Tell us. I
Yeah.
know what it is, but
I've-
It's an additional dwelling unit.
Unit, yeah.
And it's when you can take the land that you have and build another, like a little casita or something.
Yeah, these
on
little
your land.
casitas and
And
stuff.
it used to be hard to get
Right.
a permit for that, and now it's easy.
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's another law that I want to investigate further, but you can build it and sell it.
Separately?
On the, like, you,
Yeah.
you're
Build
gonna
it
cut up your
separately
land.
And I don't know
house?
how it works
have
yet.
to
Sell a
subdivide?
casita and they own the
Yes.
casita. Oh, that would be fun.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
They
Have
lease
somebody
the
behind
land.
you that own the
They're on
casita.
your land.
Yeah, they're
And they
on
have
in
to
your
pay you
house.
for the land.
Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
That's like Indian land,
That's
right?
crazy
Right?
though. You better like those people that you
Yeah.
sell to.
Well, I know Desert Hot Springs has some programs where they make it a lot easier because, you know, you still have to get plans approved and stuff.
Yeah.
So I had just learned this like a few weeks ago that Desert Hot Springs has pre-made plans. So it saves like months because you can go
Oh, that's smart.
pick this plan for this ADU.
I think
So you have a big plot of land, a little, especially like a little house, right? And you have all this space. So you can go to the city. I think it's really brilliant, and just
By the
pick
plan.
and it's already approved.
And it's already
because of the-
approved.
Yeah, you're kind of like bypassing
yeah,
That's pretty good.
That's
Yeah.
all the
smart.
bureaucracy,
Copy
right?
paste.
yeah.
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 Uh-huh. I think Roger told me about that. So my friend Roger is like, now I think he's the mayor pro term of DHS.
Oh,
Or
really?
something like that. Yeah.
Oh.
And I think he told me about that.
Maybe he's behind the whole thing. Yeah.
He's pretty good.
It's a great
Smart
idea.
guy.
I mean,
Shout out to Roger.
because like what you said is that it's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem to be getting any better. And I mean, it's like, you know, at some point, somebody's got to do something. You know, the government's got
Yeah.
to change
And-
their approach,
and-
or
Yeah, I
it's
know-
just a massive problem here in
The,
California.
these big hedge funds are buying like crazy too, and there's a lot of people worried that like home ownership is going to become
Obsolete.
out of reach.
Yeah, for only the
Because
rich, right?
It's going to be corporate owned, and that means they'll have a monopoly on
God.
And
that.
that's sad
you're
because
right.
a lot of the middle class wealth is in their homes. If you look at people that
That's
have
right.
worked 30, 40 years and own their
Right.
home, that's where they pull money to do
do
things, you know,
things.
outside of the realm of their W-2 wages. It's like that's where all family wealth is. So
Yeah.
we always preach home ownership. We're trying to get our kids buy something
Oh,
because
definitely.
right.
if you do it long term, it's gonna
Absolutely.
pay off in
Absolutely.
the long term. So
Yeah.
Speaking of kids,
Mm-hmm.
so you have twins and they are now real estate agents,
Yeah, all our
correct?
kids are entrepreneurs too.
so it's just a family thing, huh?
Yeah, except for the one that's in college. The other three, yeah, we have a set of twin girls. They're 24, Allie and Haley Squires, and they are realtors. And they have been realtors since
God, it's
they were
already 3 or 4
18.
years.
So
Oh my
they're
gosh.
going on 6
In the
years of experience.
family business, right?
Yeah.
They're in the family business.
So
So they work inside of your business?
Oh no, they don't anymore.
Not anymore. Okay.
Well, they do.
Well,
So
they do, but not. They
after we renovate a property, they'll list it for us and sell it.
Oh, good.
we give, yeah, we give.
So they're still with us. They're not. with my brokerage, but there's another, shout out to EXP, because there's a group and they're in their 20s, and I'm like, these poor guys, like our poor twins are in there with me.
What does
and
EXP mean?
It's just
a brokerage.
It's just another realty.
They had a really young, dynamic team,
Yeah.
and it's like, they go do social
And
stuff. And
honestly, as a realty, like we can't really offer the twins very much because we do something else.
yeah, we're not
You know,
traditional agents.
Sure.
They need to learn how to be really good agents,
Yeah.
and so
they
join in.
they still work with us because they still sell our houses.
Well, that's nice of you guys to do that.
Yeah, well,
Do you get a deal?
No.
Full commission.
No family discount. on that.
yeah, no, we discount them.
Yeah.
Sorry, twins. This is handed to you on a silver platter.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not paying you full commission. No way.
Yeah.
And then we have a son who owns a furniture consignment store.
Yeah.
That's Austin. You already know him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's the name of the store?
It's called The Warehouse. It's in Palm Desert on Country Club. And that works out really well for us too, because when I'm done fixing up the house, and I just go to Austin and say, give me some furniture.
Yeah. It's a nice staging.
Let me
little-
rephrase that. May I please buy some furniture?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Nothing for free, Mom.
Yeah.
Nothing- yeah.
But he grew up watching you and
Yeah.
going to places with you and doing
Yeah.
all of this, right? So
Yeah.
he kind of got a
I
little
used
bit
to
of
make him
a
come in and stage houses with me.
sure.
And so that's how he learned how to put stuff
Yeah.
together. And then I would try to just get rid of my stuff after, like if a buyer doesn't buy my furniture with the house, then I would tell Austin, sell all this stuff and I'll split it with you. And so that's how he just started.
That's how he
like,
started, huh?
Posting
Yeah,
on
that-
Facebook Marketplace or whatever, and then finally we got
It worked
him.
out really good because we had upgraded our office space to a bigger space, and then right before COVID hit. So it's just sat there, and I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah,
we're
we had an extra retail
stuck
store.
in an extra lease, and now COVID, everything's stopping. This is really bad. So what happens to space when it sits there? Stuff finds its way in there. So all of our extra staging materials are getting thrown in there. It's supposed to be an office, and it's just like freaking
Storage.
ottomans and stuff.
Yeah.
And then that was when you guys had the idea. What if we had a sale?
Yeah.
And they did really well. And then I remember it was like a month later, I'm like, hey, do you think, are you getting into a position you can pay rent? Like half rent? He's like, oh no, I paid it, we're good. He took over the rent.
And his store was born. It was during COVID.
Yeah, like
my
just
God.
right off
4
the
years.
bat.
Yeah.
Okay, and then he has a friend out in the LA area, right? That has these model homes, and then he gets to buy, or he
buys whole entire model homes at one time. He buys them.
and then he's like, all mine,
he
baby.
sends a truck. The truck comes back with all the furniture from the model from Newport Beach usually.
Oh my gosh.
And dumps it into his store, and he takes stuff on consignment too.
Oh, he does. Okay.
Yeah.
Cindy
You bought
has
stuff from
Oh
him.
yeah, we've got a ton of his stuff.
Yeah.
Cindy gets furniture store flashbacks and just like goes into the store and starts rearranging it, and he's like,
He's like,
Mom,
Mom, this is not your store. I'm like, oh.
It's funny how that comes full circle, right? You started in a furniture
Isn't that
store, and now
funny?
you guys
Yeah.
have another
I
furniture
know.
store.
But it's all his. It's not like Mom and Dad helped him. I mean, it's his store.
Yeah,
But
no, he
and what's
runs it.
cool is that I know Bobby was started doing his payroll too. So that was kind
really?
of cool.
It
Yeah.
all circles around,
Yeah.
right? It all circles around.
He's
But-
a pretty
but
impressive
Austin's
young
a hustler
man.
just
And
like
you've
his
been so
parents.
awesome to him too.
Yeah.
You've referred so many designers to him, and
Oh,
those
yeah.
designers have become very loyal buyers.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
So
you-
thank you.
Yeah, I just had something at my office the other night, and two designers moved down here from Manhattan Beach, a mom and daughter, and I told them, you gotta go to Austin.
thank you.
So,
Yeah, that gave him a huge boost, like
Yeah.
not business-wise and also like morale-wise.
Yeah.
You were a huge help to him.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
that's
you.
very cool.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I love
Just like
I love
this
it.
podcast, you know, in your promoting all the businesses in the area and
Yeah.
Absolutely.
helping people, helping small business
Yeah.
owners.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Of all the people I know, I'm like, Fina and Bobby need a podcast. They're the ones.
And here we are.
Here we are. Took a lot of planning, but we're happy we're here.
Yeah.
So Coachella Valley Homebuyers, where do we see that in the next couple of years? Where do you see the market going? What do you see for your guys' business? Do you think it's just gonna, is it gonna soften up and you guys are gonna expand, or what do you foresee in the future?
That is a great question. Well, we did expand. When right after COVID with the low inventory, it took a hit because, like we were talking about earlier, there's not as many people selling their homes. So Coachella Valley became like not enough
For us.
deals to sustain us. So we added just this last year, so we kind of changed it to CV Homebuyers. And now we're hitting LA, Orange County. We just bought a house in San Clemente.
Oh, wow.
And San Bernardino County. So we were also kind of specializing more towards a niche, because it's like, your old school stuff we use, your postcards and pay-per-click advertising has really become less and less effective. So another piece of advice I might give someone is niche, meaning like,
Absolutely.
ADUs, specialize in, learn what ADU buyers want and learn the rules and what makes a good one. Specialize.
Or apartment
Yeah.
building.
We're
Well,
hitting,
again, you got to evolve the business
Yeah.
because times change and your business will change with it.
It has to change.
It has
Otherwise,
to
it's going to
change.
die.
It
It's
does.
going to stay the same.
You're like, oh shit,
Always
okay,
has
I
to
guess
change.
I'm doing this now.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly
That's
how
what
I
I have
felt.
to do,
It was
right?
just, and it happened quick. And so we're primarily like homes that are going to foreclosure auction, reaching out to them. And we help a lot of people when we never buy their house because they don't know the rules.
Oh,
And people will lose their house.
So we help them save
we
it.
have like a backup plan. Look, you can do this, this, this. Like there you go with the problem solving. If none of that works, we will pay cash and buy it prior to the foreclosure auction, and that's become kind of our new specialty.
sweet spot.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
All right, guys.
Another
So-
niche.
And
huh?
then another thing I'd recommend too, where a lot of our deals are coming from, is we used to be a lot more transactional, where it's postcards. Somebody's like, I need to sell this right now. We buy it. And a lot of inventory, I would recommend somebody who's looking for a project is reaching out to agents, real estate agents, and getting the word out to them.
Sure.
That,
Got the feet on the ground.
yeah, exactly.
Boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground, because they're on the front lines.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, if you come across a fixer, they need to sell now, instead of listing it, just bring it straight to us. Especially, it's not obviously not going to be for a really pretty home. They're not in a hurry to sell. But, if an agent's sitting down and it's a hoarder house or it's an inheritance, the agent can say, I've got somebody who can do a
have a
cash
buyer for
offer
you.
right now. And that's becoming another source of deals too.
Very
Plus, there's no marketing cost.
There you go. Yeah, because a lot of money goes into
Oh, hell
getting
yeah.
a house
Tons.
ready to sell.
Oh, God.
Old school networking, right? It's
Old school networking.
is coming back. I'm
Who
telling
you know.
Coming back, yeah.
Who you know. It's who you know. So we're kind of up against time here, but we always like to ask our entrepreneurs, what's some of the best business advice you guys got throughout the years that you can share with the audience?
Stay lean. Stay lean. And before the COVID years, it was like, you mail postcards, you get all these calls, everything was great, you have a full team. And, honestly, like we could have cut overhead back, but I didn't. I'm like, here's some services that we don't need. I'll get around to it. And because when it's coming in, it's doing good. The market will change at some point.
Of course it
It's
will.
always changing, right?
You got to be
So-
ready.
And you don't give up. You work hard. You work harder than anybody. You work harder than all your employees.
Yeah.
You are persistent. What
Yeah.
are some of the other things? You got to have grit.
I think
Have grit.
the questions you ask are really important.
You got to have
You
grit.
know, like
Got to have grit.
when we were wholesaling those REOs, they said you can't assign an REO.
You can't flip houses in this market.
You can't.
We
yeah,
hear that every year.
yeah. So
You
it's,
can't flip houses in this market.
when our marketing started becoming not effective, and we have also overhead and it's harder to get deals. It's like, what can we do? Like, it's not working. What was working for 13 years is not
Change
working.
it up.
You got to
Change with
pivot,
the
right?
times.
You got to
What-
pivot. You got to
gotta
pivot.
What can we do to change our business where it can still be, profitable? And
Yeah.
we started marketing to the auctions, and it took a little bit and starting to work.
So that's the advice.
That's the advice.
Be ready to change.
Be ready to change.
Ready to pivot.
And ask how.
Ready to pivot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think all of us had to do that in COVID, right? We all,
yeah.
every business that's
Every
still
business.
alive today had
If you're
to
still
pivot
here,
in
you
COVID.
pivoted.
Pivot.
I mean,
Yeah.
I do payroll, HR, like some of the safest work you can do because everybody's always going to need that.
Right.
But there were times where we had to pivot what we did every day just to survive. You know?
Yeah.
So I think everybody kind of went through that.
Yeah.
What's the worst advice you've gotten for being an entrepreneur over the years? I'm sure you've gotten
advice?
some. I'm sure you've gotten some.
What's the worst advice?
Flipping houses.
Don't flip houses. Don't do it.
Yeah, but best piece of advice for someone considering it: don't do it. No, it's been an adventure. It's definitely been more interesting than probably some things. Worst advice though.
Come on, somebody's got some.
Well,
some,
no, I
somebody's
think that
got to
was
give
it.
you.
Don't flip homes. I mean, because you listen to the critics, you just gotta shut them out sometimes.
It really is true that we hear every single year you can't flip homes in this market. And
you do it every year, year upon year.
It's either harder to buy them or it's harder to sell them, but you can do it in any market.
I'll give something that I would say not to do in this market pertaining to real estate ownership is don't get very highly leveraged.
Yeah.
And get a bunch of homes because we don't know what the market's going to do. And I've seen so many people wiped out.
We're just gun shy.
By for example, the Airbnb. They would buy one and they would pull the money out, buy another Airbnb, and then keep doing that. And
that can be a disaster.
La Quinta came and said no more Airbnbs.
Yeah, as soon as the city council says you can't do it anymore,
and
your business is over.
Game over.
Then pivot.
Then pivot real quick.
All that money, all the renovations and the Airbnb costs, just gone.
Oh my
So
God.
you want to stay conservative,
Hopes and dreams.
because a time will come. It's a cycle. The market. We're going to be reminded of what can happen. So I've just seen too many people, we're freaky paranoid when we buy, after going through the crash. So that's what I would say is be conservative.
When you buy.
Sure.
Yeah, don't get way over leveraged.
In any business.
Yeah,
right.
That's
true.
true.
That's-
in
yeah,
business.
in
You got to
absolutely.
watch that overhead because it'll swamp you. Especially the ebb and flows of business. You guys know how it goes. There's those ups and downs.
Yeah.
If your
Yes.
overhead is way too high,
Save those acorns.
Yeah, if your overhead, you're doing really well, but you have high overhead. When you don't do as well, that's when it's going to start eating into your
Yeah,
profit,
absolutely.
and then
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
kills the business. Yeah. A lot of good nuggets in this
Yeah.
episode.
We
You guys are some rock stars in the real estate
Well, we have
game.
tenacity, that's for sure.
Absolutely have learned so
Absolutely.
much about you both
Absolutely.
and your business, and it's no wonder that it is definitely thriving, and we're so excited for you and your
Thank
future,
you.
and
Thank you.
very inspired by you guys. So,
Thanks.
yeah, thanks for
Definitely.
coming on.
Where
and-
can
Thanks for
our
having us.
audience find you guys if they wanted to get in touch or see
Great.
get talk to the gurus of house flipping? over here?
Yeah, Coachella Valley Homebuyers.com.
Okay.
And then a more interesting page is our Facebook page.
Okay.
So
Or
just-
we're on Instagram too, CV Homebuyers on Instagram. Yeah.
Oh, we are?
CV Home.
Yeah. Kind of.
You're the marketing guy.
We're busy working. We gotta get better at internet marketing. But CoachellaValleyHomebuyers.com.
So check them out, everybody that
Yeah.
gained any information from today. I think
Yeah.
it would be a good follow.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for coming in. It was a
Thanks
pleasure.
for having us.
Thanks,
You
guys.
guys are awesome. I'm in awe every time I talk to you guys. I'm like, I
Aw.
learn something every
Totally.
time.
Aw.
So.
Well, the
Thank
desert
you.
needs more pumping up of entrepreneurship, what you guys are doing. And
Absolutely.
it's like,
It's
So proud of you
interesting.
guys.
It's
Yeah.
and
Every business has its own story. Every entrepreneur
Right.
has
My
its
God,
own story,
yes.
and they're cool
Yeah.
stories if you sit down and talk to them. So that's what we're trying to do, and we appreciate you guys
yeah,
coming
well,
in.
we're honored to be here.
Thanks for having us,
thanks,
guys.
yeah.
All right.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks
Have
for
a good
having
night.
us. If
Thank
you
you.
enjoyed that, like, subscribe, and follow, and we'll talk to you guys next time.